Welcome to YouTube Pedia. Discover the greatest stories from history, science, and beyond. If you're curious about the world, subscribe now and join our journey through knowledge. Let's get started. The rise of a legend, Pelé's early life and journey to greatness. In the world of football, very few names resonate with the same level of admiration and reverence as Pelé. Born Edson Arantes do Nascimento on October 23, 1940, in the small town of Três Corações, Brazil, Pelé's journey to becoming the greatest footballer of all time was nothing short of extraordinary. His story is not just about goals and trophies, but about overcoming hardships, breaking barriers, and inspiring generations. Humble beginnings and early struggles. Pelé was born into a poor family, and his father, João Ramos do Nascimento, better known as Dindinho, was a footballer whose career never reached the heights he dreamed of due to injuries. Despite financial struggles, Dindinho introduced Pelé to football at a young age, teaching him basic skills and sharing stories of the sport. However, the family couldn't afford a proper football, so Pelé would often practice with a sock stuffed with newspaper or a grapefruit, honing his dribbling and control in the narrow streets of his hometown. From an early age, Pelé demonstrated an incredible passion for the game. He played barefoot with friends and quickly became known for his extraordinary talent. His skills caught the attention of local football enthusiasts, and he joined a youth team called Bauru Athletic Club, coached by Waldemar de Brito, a former Brazilian footballer. De Brito was one of the first to recognize Pelé's potential and famously told his family that their son would one day be the greatest football player in the world. Joining Santos and the start of a legendary career. At just 15 years old, Pelé was taken to Santos FC, one of Brazil's most prominent football clubs, by Waldemar de Brito. Despite his young age, he impressed the club's coaches with his speed, skill, and finishing ability. In 1956, Pelé made his professional debut for Santos and scored in his very first match, a sign of what was to come. By the age of 16, Pelé was already the top scorer in the Campeonato Paulista, Brazil's most prestigious state league. His incredible goal-scoring ability and dynamic playing style set him apart from others. He wasn't just a striker, he had the dribbling ability of a winger, the vision of a playmaker, and the killer instinct of a goal scorer. His performances for Santos quickly made him a national sensation, and soon, the Brazilian national team came calling. The 1958 World Cup, a teenage sensation on the world stage. Despite being only 17 years old, Pelé was included in Brazil's squad for the 1958 FIFA World Cup in Sweden. Many questioned whether such a young player could handle the pressure of the biggest football tournament in the world, but Pelé proved that age was just a number. After missing the first two games due to injury, Pelé made his World Cup debut against the Soviet Union and immediately made an impact. However, it was in the knockout rounds that the world truly witnessed the brilliance of the young Brazilian. In the quarterfinals against Wales, Pelé scored the only goal of the match, becoming the youngest goal scorer in World Cup history at that time. Then came the semi-finals against France, where Pelé produced one of the most legendary performances in football history, scoring a stunning hat-trick to lead Brazil to a 5-2 victory. In the final against Sweden, Pelé continued his magic, scoring twice in a 5-2 victory that secured Brazil's first-ever World Cup title. The iconic image of a 17-year-old Pelé being carried on his teammates' shoulders, tears in his eyes, became a defining moment in football history. His breathtaking performances earned him worldwide recognition, and he was hailed as a prodigy. Football had never seen a player with such a combination of skill, intelligence, and composure at such a young age. The world had just witnessed the birth of a new football king. Dominating club football with Santos. After his World Cup triumph, Pelé returned to Santos as a national hero. Over the next few years, he continued to mesmerize fans with his dazzling performances, leading Santos to unprecedented success. He helped the club win multiple Campeonato Paulista titles, the Copa Libertadores, and the Intercontinental Cup, solidifying Santos as one of the greatest club teams in history. During this time, Pelé also became known for his incredible goal-scoring ability. He scored over 1,000 career goals, an achievement few footballers have ever come close to. His ability to score from anywhere on the pitch, whether through powerful shots, delicate chips, or acrobatic bicycle kicks, made him one of the most feared strikers of all time. Pelé's influence was not just limited to the football pitch. He became a symbol of hope for millions of Brazilians. His rise from poverty to global superstardom inspired countless young footballers, proving that with hard work, determination, and passion, anything was possible. A national treasure and the face of Brazilian football. By the early 1960s, Pelé had become so valuable to Brazil that the government declared him a national treasure, preventing him from being transferred to European clubs despite interest from the likes of Real Madrid and Manchester United. This decision kept him at Santos for most of his career, where he continued to dominate both domestically and internationally. Pelé's unique style of play combined elegance, power, and intelligence. He could play with both feet, was an exceptional dribbler, and had a remarkable football IQ that allowed him to anticipate plays before they happened. His leadership qualities and humble nature made him not just a great player but a beloved figure in the sport. The making of a legend. Pelé's early years laid the foundation for a career that would redefine football. From playing with a makeshift ball in the streets of Brazil to lifting the World Cup at 17, his story was already the stuff of legend. But this was just the beginning. The 1962 and 1966 World Cups, triumph and heartbreak. After the 1958 World Cup, Pelé had become a global football icon. By the time the 1962 FIFA World Cup in Chile arrived, he was at the peak of his abilities, ready to lead Brazil to another victory. In the tournament's opening match, Pelé showcased his brilliance, scoring a spectacular solo goal against Mexico. However, in the second game against Czechoslovakia, disaster struck. Pelé suffered a serious muscle injury that ruled him out for the rest of the tournament. Despite the heartbreak of losing their biggest star, Brazil still triumphed, thanks to the legendary Garrincha, who led the team to victory. Even though Pelé couldn't fully participate, he still added another World Cup medal to his collection, making him a two-time champion at just 21 years old. By the time the 1966 World Cup in England arrived, Pelé was determined to reclaim his title. However, this tournament would be one of the most disappointing moments of his career. Targeted by brutal fouls from opponents and receiving little protection from referees, Pelé suffered severe injuries. After a devastating loss to Portugal in the group stage, Brazil was eliminated, and a frustrated Pelé vowed never to play in a World Cup again. The road to redemption, the 1970 FIFA World Cup. Despite his disappointment in 1966, Pelé's love for football never faded. As the 1970 World Cup in Mexico approached, Brazil's coach Mario Zagallo convinced him to return for one last attempt at glory. What followed was one of the greatest campaigns in football history. The 1970 Brazil squad is often regarded as the greatest team of all time, featuring legends like Jairzinho, Rivellino, Tostão, and Carlos Alberto. At the heart of it all was Pelé, who had one final masterpiece to deliver to the world. From the very first match, Pelé was unstoppable. He scored a stunning header against Italy in the final, provided incredible assists, and showcased skills never seen before, such as the famous dummy against Uruguay, where he let the ball roll past the goalkeeper before narrowly missing the shot. Brazil dominated every opponent and defeated Italy 4-1 in the final, with Pelé scoring and assisting the final goal, one of the most iconic moments in football history. As he was lifted by his teammates, holding the Jules Rimet trophy, Pelé became the only player in history to win 3 World Cups, a record that still stands today. The new challenge, bringing football to America. After conquering the world with Santos FC in Brazil, Pelé faced a new challenge: introducing football to the United States. In 1975, he signed with the New York Cosmos in the North American Soccer League (NASL), a move that shocked the world. Many saw it as a step backward, but Pelé saw it as an opportunity to grow the sport in a country where football was still in its infancy. Pelé's arrival in the US was a game changer. Stadiums were suddenly packed, and celebrities like Muhammad Ali, Mick Jagger, and even US presidents attended matches just to watch him play. With his presence, football became more popular in America, inspiring future generations of players. In 1977, Pelé played his final professional match in an exhibition game between Santos and the New York Cosmos. In a touching moment, he played one half for each team. As the match ended, Pelé ran around the stadium shouting, "Love, love, love," symbolizing his belief that football had the power to unite the world. The legacy of a legend. Pelé's influence extended far beyond football. He became a global ambassador for the sport, working with the United Nations and UNICEF, promoting peace and education through football. His charisma, humility, and passion for the game made him more than just a sports figure. He became an icon of hope and inspiration. Unbreakable records and achievements. Won 283 career goals in 1,363 matches, including friendlies, making him one of football's top goal scorers. The only player to win 3 World Cups, 1958, 1962, 1970. Named FIFA's Player of the Century alongside Diego Maradona. Scored 92 hat-tricks in his career. Played over 20 years at the top level of football. Pelé was more than just numbers. He was the embodiment of football itself. His joy, skill, and love for the game inspired millions worldwide. Pelé's lasting impact. Even after his passing in 2022, Pelé's name remains synonymous with greatness. He paved the way for generations of footballers, from Maradona to Ronaldo, from Messi to Neymar. Whenever a child kicks a football in the streets of Brazil, they dream of being the next Pelé. Pelé once said, "Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, sacrifice, and most of all, love for what you are doing or learning to do." His story is not just about football. It's about overcoming obstacles, inspiring others, and leaving behind a legacy that will never fade. Final words: the eternal king of football. Pelé's journey from a poor boy in Brazil to the greatest footballer of all time is one of the most incredible stories in sports history. His magic on the field, his dedication to the game, and his love for people made him truly unique. Though the world may never see another Pelé, his impact will live forever. Every time a football rolls across a pitch, his spirit is there. Every time a young player dares to dream, his influence is alive. Pelé was not just a footballer. He was a legend, a hero, and the eternal king of football. Did Pelé inspire you? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to celebrate the life of a true football legend.